Rise and shine, people. Amen, amen, amen. You know, you guys get on there and start doing that. Amen. It's a wonderful day of the Lord, and He allowed us to see. But good morning, everybody. Fam, bam. Hope everybody's day is doing well so far. We getting your day started. Lord's will, you see it today. I'm gonna just let this notification get out real quick, and we get started, man. This ain't gonna be too long. If you can, please share the link, man. And then we get started. I'm starting off in my office. I'm about to go do my morning walk here while I talk to you guys, um, but I want to start in my office right quick so that I wanted to play something on the computer, and then we go from there. But hope everybody's day is going well, man. So give it a little minute. Give me like a minute and a half. Let the notification get out. Brothers and sisters get in. Comment. Let me see who here. Say hello. All that good stuff. And we'll get started. Hopefully the audio and everything's working well for you guys. It should be. I'll just give you guys a minute. If you haven't, definitely you get a chance, definitely check out the Halloween thing from yesterday evening that we did. But once again, for anybody coming in, man, hopefully your day is going well so far. Like I said, we about to take this outside, but I needed to play a little video clip that I wasn't even looking for. It just kind of came up. I was looking for something else, but came up. But it has everything to do with the topic. As you guys can see by the flyer and everything, it was that Dave Chapelle exposes the hypocrisy of Christians in the Black community. And I'll go ahead and start. And whoever comes on, they'll catch it as they come on. I don't know how the YouTube algorithm thing is working now. I don't know who's getting notifications. I don't know who's not getting notifications. I don't know how connected it is to what I talk about, or me just not using the system properly. I don't know, but I know that with as time goes along, and I continue to talk about the Olympics and MMA and boxing, and and of course I mentioned LGBTQ in my classes and things like that. The viewership goes further and further down. So I don't know how much. I don't know how their algorithm thing works. I know they be changing it up and stuff, and I don't be stressing about it. I just put out the video. So, I don't know who's not getting what. I know majority of people who subscribe to the channel obviously is not getting the notifications. So yes, I don't know how that's working, but anyway. Yeah, so I'll just let some time pass while the notification get out. But I'm gonna go ahead and start. I want to play this video right quick, and then I'm gonna head outside and continue to talk to you guys. All right, just give me a quick second here. I can't even turn it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to turn the actual phone around so you guys can see it. All right, let me blow it up. It's this video I just came across. DL Hughley posted it this morning, and I want y'all to hear what he says. I want you to look at the crowd, and then I'll go from there because it has a lot to do with what we're talking about here. All right, here we go. Let me see if I turn around. I don't know how. I'm trying to see because I don't got no button to flip the camera, so I can't see it. But I think I got it in frame. All right, here you go.
I was a soft kid. I was sensitive, I'd cry easy, and I would be scared to fist fight. And my mother used to tell me this thing, I don't even know if you remember, but you said this to me more than once. You said, son, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb you really are. I talk this like a lion. I'm not afraid of any of you. When it comes word to word, I will gab with the best of them, just so I can chill and be me. And that's why I love my art form, because I understand every practitioner of it, whether I agree with them or not. I know where they're coming from. They want to be heard. They got something to say. There's something they notice. They just want to be understood. Love this genre. It saved my life.
All right. So that was a clip that DL Hughley shared. I'm gonna play it one more time, guys. I want y'all to really pay attention to what he's saying, all right? Because it's utter nonsense. But I want y'all to listen to it because, and you know, the fact they got the little music playing in the background, it's supposed to be a motivational speech. I'm gonna play it one more time. It's only 47 seconds, and then we're gonna leave and go outside and continue to talk. Okay, here we go.
I was sensitive. I'd cry easy.
Let me run it back.
I was a soft kid. I was sensitive. I'd cry easy, and I would be scared to fist fight. And my mother used to tell me this thing. I don't even know if you remember, but you said this to me more than once. You said, son, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb you really are. I talk this like a lion. I'm not afraid of any of you. When it comes word to word, I will gab with the best of them, just so I can chill and be me. And that's why I love my art form, because I understand every practitioner of it, whether I agree with them or not. I know where they're coming from. They want to be heard. They got something to say. There's something they notice. They just want to be understood. Love this genre. It saved my life.
All right. Let me grab this. Grab my stick. Well, let's go outside, guys and gals. A quick second here. Boys are playing with fishing lures. All right. All right. Well, hopefully your day's going well. Squirrel, you looking? I'm not hunting, brother. Oh, hopefully the highlights don't blow out. Anyway, hopefully your mornings is going well, guys. So you guys heard the video there. And this is a huge issue. You guys heard the music and all that stuff. It's supposed to be a motivational speech. And you guys seen who was there. You know, you had Tiffany Haddish in the crowd. You had, I forgot that rapper name, Q-Tip. He was in the crowd. Yeah, a whole bunch of famous people in the crowd. A whole lot of rich people, rappers, fellow comedians, etc. And, you know, this is to motivate them. You know, Tiffany Haddish, she looked like she was about to cry. You know, DL Hughley sharing it. And the things that he said, right? When he was younger, he used to be afraid to fist fight. His mother makes a statement to him that's supposed to be a wise saying that sometimes you have to be a lion to be the lamb you really are, right? And it's like, wow, that was deep. Nobody really knows what that means, but it's deep. Sounds good. But then he says, that's why he talks the SHIT that he does. He's not afraid of anybody. He'll gab. Gab is basically, it's a slang, but it's basically talking trash. He'll gab with the best of them, you know, word for word. And he talked about his job as a comedian. Say he loves his genre and he loves, you know, his art form. It saved his life. And of course the clip ends, but that was enough to kind of springboard off of the issue. You guys that might have been seen on Facebook, because I haven't seen the special he did. I'm not going to see the special he did. I don't care to see the special he did, because it's all evil. But people keep talking about it. I guess they did a screening or a preview or something like that, and he got the whole, you know, lesbian, gay, transgender community upset. And so I seen some people on Facebook, and they were saying that someone were saying or pointing out the fact they're trying to expose the hypocrisy of the gay, lesbian, transgender community. Some of them are also using it to try to expose the white man. Bum, bum, bum. And they're like, they say, see, when you make jokes, and they're saying that Jay Chapelle is a genius for doing this because what he proved by his special was that you can make jokes and pick on and say things about the black community, but as soon as you say something about LGBTQ or whatever the case is, they try to cancel you, right? And you can't say nothing about them. And so you got people sharing it and they're commending Dave Chappelle because he's a genius, he's an activist, and they get him, right? So they say he proved his point by this special. I think it's called a closer or something like that. And so, people are sharing it, they're liking it, they're complaining. Yeah, they'll let you degrade the black people all the time. But as soon as you say something about LGBTQ, you can't say nothing about them, you know. And so, but some of these people are black Christians that are saying this. Well, a lot of people are black Christians saying this. Some are part of the black community, but may not be considered Christians that are saying this. And so, um, I'm sitting, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at what they're saying. That's why I said, pay attention to what Dave Chappelle was saying. And then when I'm repeating to you guys these posts that people are posting up, uh, since this whole news broke about the transgender people being upset and some of them walking out of the Netflix jobs and stuff because they was offended by his joke thing and what he was saying about them, and all the political correctness that's coming out about this, and and even the things that I mentioned to you guys and that some of y'all might have seen, that people were saying, commending him for doing what he did because it exposes the white man and exposes the hypocrisy of the gay and lesbian community, that you can sit and you can degrade the black community all day long. But as soon as you say something, about the gay community, nope, you can't do that. They'll cancel you and all that, right? And I'm like, are y'all listening to what y'all saying? So let me run this back slow motion, and then I'm gonna pull this Bible out and read something that we keep reading all the time that apparently ain't clicking through a lot of people's heads that profess to be Christians. And so, how they even hypocrites in the first place of even saying these dumb things that they're saying that they're getting applause from men from, and they're not understanding evil themselves, or not only admitting to, but joining in. Because I grew up in a Christian household, Christian family members, and even though I wasn't a big Dave Chappelle fan, I've seen some of his specials. I was more of a Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy guy. I was more those guys. People like Dave Chappelle, Paul Mooney, and Rich Pryor, and people like that, Bill Cosby. Even though they were comedians, I didn't find them that funny. But I laughed at some things Dave Chappelle did on the show, like the milkman thing and stuff like that. But I was more of those other guys that I mentioned. But so the gripe that a lot of black Christians and black community are expressing is that Dave Chappelle could make jokes and make a lot of money from doing skits about black people, right? Black women or black men, the black homes, fatherlessness, uh, acting like a coon or something, or what people call a coon. He could do all of these things, and he could talk as much as he want, all the mess he want about black people in general, um, which he does. But if he opens his mouth and speaks against the transgender community, then he gets canceled. People are upset, and they want to stage protests and stuff like that. So they're trying to use this as a uh, what's the word I'm looking for? As further proof that the black community is targeted and people want to destroy it and blah blah blah. And so what they're not arguing that Dave Chappelle don't make jokes about black people. They're not complaining about that because he's seeing people that are complaining about how the disparaging of the black community, but you can't do it to the LGBTQ community. You know, that's messed up. See, that's how they view the black man. We always on the bottom. They're trying to talk like that. They don't understand. Them the ones why Dave Chappelle even got famous. Even why he's even known among the black community in the first place with them jokes. They're the ones that supported him. When he was making jokes about black people and cursing and doing all this other stuff, y'all was buying the specials. Y'all was ordering it on TV and pay-per-view, wherever it used to come on. You know, y'all the ones supported him as a comedian. Y'all didn't try to cancel him when he was doing black people stuff. Y'all was laughing at it. And then now that the LGBTQ community is upset because he's making jokes about them and they want him to get canceled and they want Netflix to not put out the special and all this kind of stuff. Now you complaining like, nah, man, see that? Ain't nobody try to cancel him when he was making jokes about the black community. But as soon as he say something about the transgender community, they ready to cancel the brother. Who wants to cancel him? The people he making the jokes about. Think of the backwards thinking of the black community and black Christians who complaining about this. The actions that the LGBT community, even though it's full of corruption, the reaction they're having from Dave Chappelle's comedy about them that offends them and they want it not to come out and they want him to be canceled because of it is the reaction the black community should have been had to what he was doing. But the black community didn't have that reaction. They were commending him and clapping hands and being fans. But the LGBT community don't want to be fans. They want him canceled because they find what he's saying about them offensive. And the black community and black Christians are complaining, trying to use this as a proof that people just hate the black community and, you know, you can do all you want to the black community, but as soon as you do it to the lesbian community or the gay community, the transgender community, now they want you, now you cancel. Now you lose your job. Like, this don't even make sense. The reactions these people are having is reactions you should have had. That's the exact, this corrupt folks' reaction is the exact reaction the black community should have had a long time ago. To any community, to any comedian that does these jokes and cursing and emulating the corruptness of the black communities and making light of corrupt things. This is the reactions that y'all should have had. But no, you go to black Christians' houses and go to black community house. If it was in DVD before, before Roku and all that stuff took over, if it was on VHS or whatever, man, y'all had them little stands against the wall with all the tapes. With all the tapes from Comic View and BET After Dark and all that. Y'all had all that stuff. All it does is degrade and further corrupt the community. Y'all fans of this stuff. And then y'all act like them the only entertainment options you got. That's all we got. If that's all you had, then you should have nothing. If you fear God. So you're angry and saying it's unfair because the LGBTQ community is having the reaction y'all should have been had. That don't even make sense. That literally makes no sense. And for black Christians, y'all really should stay out of it because that just further exposes your hypocrisy when you say it. Because the apostle said this. This is Ephesians chapter 5. And it's something we keep reading all the time, over and over and over again. But y'all give these people a pass. Yeah, y'all, because y'all so. I'll get into that in a second. I need to start walking back towards the house. I need to get my portable charger. But Ephesians 5, it says, it says, the apostle said, therefore be imitators of God as dearly loved children and walk in love as Christ also loved us and gave himself for us, a sacrificial and flagrant offering to God. But sexual immorality, which runs rampant in the communities, we all know that. A whole lot of baby mamas, baby daddies, fornication. Look at the music industry. That's all it boasts about.
sexual immorality, and any impurity, or greed or materialism should not even be heard of among you, talking about believers, as is proper for saints. But then it says, proper for saints, obscene and foolish talking, or that gab for gab, word for word, that Dave Chapelle boasts about how he's not afraid to do it. And anybody who's heard his material, that's what he does. Obscene and foolish talking or crude joking are not suitable. They're not for you, but rather giving thanks. For know and recognize this: every sexually immoral or impure or greedy person who is an idolater does not have an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God. This is what the apostle said. So Dave Chappelle, if he continues on in his love of comedy and doing what he's doing, as much as y'all like him, and as much as y'all think the people out to get him and shut him down and cancel him and all stuff, y'all need to be worried about him being canceled by God, because if the brother don't repent, stop this madness that he's doing, trying to be some black activist or something. I don't know what he's trying to do, but if he don't repent and quit this, and y'all stop, commending this man, which is just further destroying him, then y'all don't understand this man will be destroyed by God, who you say you worship, right? You want everybody to be saved, right? So, but he's going to be destroyed because he's a lover of darkness. He continues in evil works, and before God and before men. And so, no man who fears God should boast about how he ain't afraid to go back word for word with people, meaning if he was insulted, he'll insult back, which is against Christ. When Christ is insulted, he did not insult in return. When he was persecuted, he did not retaliate or threaten, right? And we must follow that example. That's a commandment. And so for you to be complaining as Christians that, oh, look at that, he make all them jokes about the black community, and nobody try to cancel him. And whose fault is that? The black community's fault. Then, but as soon as he say something about the LGBTQ community, they ready to cancel. That's a good. Y'all should take a cue out of their book. Y'all should take a cue out of the LGBTQ community book. They being more righteous than the black community right now. They being more righteous than the black community. That's the reaction the black community should have had. When the joke wasn't about them, and it was about all the black people, black community, and the LGBT community that was yet formed. This is a more recent thing. People used to be in the closet, but now they got a whole community. Before they were formed, and the jokes was all about the black people and all that kind of stuff, there was nothing for them to say. That was for the people that was being made the jokes of. The wicked ain't gonna cancel them. The industry, if he's making millions of dollars for them, or billions of dollars, because if he's making millions, they making billions. If they making that much money, they ain't canceling him, because they have the love of money, which is the root of all evil, and they're gonna promote whatever makes them money. So it's for the community to be upset, and for them to say, hey, we don't want this. We don't want this as a representative. We know he black. We know he grew up, probably, I don't know his bring up, whether he grew up with his father or not. But a lot of times these very successful people, they grew up in the cliche situation that most blacks grow up in, which is just grew up with your mama and father not in the home. But I don't know for sure if that was his upbringing. But either way, clearly it wasn't a righteous upbringing. But let me run. I need to get my phone charger real quick. Put my phone down, you guys. A quick second. Oh boy. Quick second, bro. People who 2 years ago were protesting paper company. That's this, man. All right. A quick second, brothers and sisters. Let's throw this on here and we go back outside. Hey, boo. All right, come on. Come on now. All right. Sorry. All right. You say what? Love you. All right. Okay, now we can go back on our walk here. Hi, good morning. Yeah, so when the jokes were about them, they should have had that reaction. We don't want this. We when the music industry popped off, and you had people bragging about material things, and women, and the minute they started with the video vixens, the whole black community should stood up in righteousness and be like, yo, we don't need this, man. This is the problem among us, man. We're not gonna support this. But no, that's what black culture is. You think about black culture, that's what that's what it is. The music industry, Cardi B, Beyonce, Jay-Z, all these people, man. Now it's Little Baby, Da Baby, you know, you had Cash Money Records, you had P Diddy and them over there with Bad Boy. You had all that going on, man. That's what black culture is. The hip hop, right? The R&B, the soul. It ain't clean. It's wicked. And so that's what black culture is. And so, they want to be you want to be treated with respect, but you don't want to treat yourself with respect. Everything that represents you is a bunch of wickedness and evil, but you want people to respect you so bad. You upset because a whole nother community is reacting to your black comedian because he said some things they didn't like that was offensive, and they want his whole special to be canceled. But y'all fill up the stands. Y'all fill up the seats. And as he degrades and laughs and jokes about the black community, y'all laughing. Y'all paying money. Y'all call him a modern day activist or whatever the case is. Y'all do that, man. And so y'all ain't upset at the filth he's already preaching to y'all and saying to y'all through the jokes and stuff. Y'all ain't mad about that. Y'all only mad that the LGBT community want to cancel him because he said something offensive to them. You're mad because they offended by what he said about them. Now, what kind of sense does that even make? That don't even make no sense. That you mad because another person's upset because somebody else said something about them. And you're upset because, hey, when he was saying stuff to us, was you upset when he was saying stuff to you? Was you upset when he was making all these jokes about the black community and making you laugh and stuff? Was you upset? Was you upset then? So if you wasn't upset when he was making jokes about you, why are you upset because somebody is upset that he making jokes about them? And your only complaint is the fact that you think he should be allowed to degrade another community because he's allowed to degrade your community. Now, if you upset at what he's doing in general, just general, you want to cancel all across the board, then there's no hypocrisy. But if you're going to laugh, you're going to share his links, and you're going to call him a modern day activist, and he's going to boast and boast in evil before your sight, and you're supposed to follow the Lord or proclaim yourself to be Christian, then you're just a hypocrite. You're just a hypocrite, and it shows that the whole skin color and this loyalty to those who look like you, instead of your loyalty to him you never seen, it shows that still blinds many people that profess to follow Christ. And they have to separate from that because it's only going to further corrupt them. The apostles and the Lord, there should be no Dave Chappelles among us. Right? We shouldn't have these Christian comedians in general. Because how are they going to make you laugh? Do they make you laugh with righteous things? Or are they picking at things, using people as the butt of their jokes, making up stuff just to make up, scenarios that'll make you laugh, exaggerating things, which is lies. Anytime you're exaggerating, that's a lie. And they're doing all these corrupt things to make you laugh and entertain you. The apostle said these crude jestings and jokes and obscene and foolish talk, they're not even be among us. We have to come away from these things because the Lord wants us to be pure, not impure. Impure is when you mix, when you mix uh, foreign matter, if you want to say, in a pure substance. And you don't need a whole bunch. You just need a little bit. Once you mix it in there, that thing that was pure is no longer pure. At that point, it's impure. And so we're not to have any impure. The Lord's conforming us to the image of Christ, where there's no darkness at all. There's no impurities at all. We're unleavened. Um, you know, we're purified. All these things. So your whole life is putting off these things. So for Christians, we shouldn't even really care about this debacle going on between the unbelieving black community and the LGBTQ community, which are both unbelieving communities, and Dave Chapelle and Netflix. We should have nothing to do with this because, one, it ain't got to do with us. Number two, they're going to do what they want to do. Dave Chapelle going to do what makes them money. The people that promote them going to do, Netflix going to do what makes them money. But whether or not the LGBT community is upset or not, and the LGBT community, though they mad about this, they ain't mad about the other corruptions running around in their communities. So they ain't got nothing to do with us. We to be purified, not worrying about this, not joining in with that gab that they're talking about, trying to commend this man for the evil he does because it exposes the hypocrisy of the white man who will pay this man millions of dollars to degrade the black community. Okay, so if you're gonna say that, if you're gonna say these people paying millions of dollars to degrade the black community, are you then saying that he's paid to do evil? Are you admitting that what he does on a regular basis is evil works? And even if they offered him, you can't say they pay him unless he accepts the money. So they offer him these monies, and he takes it. That's how he's paid. That's the only way you paid. You only paid if you accept what the person gave you. Okay? So if they offered him $50 million contract to keep making specials, and his specials are a bunch of jokes degrading any community, are you saying this man gets paid to do evil? And if you're saying this man gets paid to do evil, then wouldn't you also say that his job is an evil one, and if he don't stop this, he will not inherit the kingdom of God? Will you also admit that? So if you could complain, they pay him millions of dollars to degrade people, which we know degrading is evil, right? You speak down to somebody, you belittle them, you stump them in the ground, right? This ain't an attitude of thinking of others better than yourself, being humble, being peacemaker, thing like that. His job is literally to rough up people's feathers. Comedians get a pass because it's just like athletes, right? They get a pass for assault if they're in the boxing industry or UFC or WWE, because all the actions they act out, had you act that out outside those arenas, it would be considered assault. You go to jail. But they legalize these things for your entertainment. So they get away with assault and insulting and things like that because it's part of the game, right? Dave Chappelle's a comedian. He get a pass for degrading people, insulting people, saying things he should not say that are otherwise improper if you got on Facebook and said it. But if you're a comedian, you kind of get a pass because that job allows for it and it's kind of accepted if you're doing it as a joke, right? So it's these things that when I talk about MMA and boxing and competitive sports, that's what I'm talking about. It's the same evil works in the flesh, but the man, whoever the man is, the devil mainly, moving the hearts of evildoers, they make acceptable evil things for your entertainment. And depending on where you go at, if you're it's illegal, at least to my knowledge, it's illegal to be a prostitute on the side of the road. It's not illegal to dress as a prostitute in a music video. It's illegal to be a prostitute, stand on the side of the road. It's not illegal to be a porn star. But it's the same evils, same sexual morality, right? It's illegal for a man to just walk up on you and smack you and feel on your body, or a woman come just feel on your body randomly at the mall or something. It's not illegal in the club to dance on strangers and rub all on their parts. So it's wherever a person goes, they make they make acceptable evil actions that would normally be not accepted in other avenues or arenas. So in the boxing rings, they legalize assault. They literally do that. That's like a literal like law. They legalize that. They legalize assault. So you could punch a man, you could even kill him as a result of the fight, but you never be charged with any crime because they legalized it, and so you're covered by the law, and so you're never charged with any wrongdoing in the context of the game, right? But if you take that and do it in the parking lot or at a schoolhouse or something like that, you go to jail. So they legalize and make evil things acceptable for your entertainment, but they put you in these boxes. They say, listen, if you love violence, don't do it in the middle of the street. Don't street fight. All right. Put on some gloves and take out your frustration with your enemies in a boxing ring, and then you'll be covered. You love, sexual promiscuity or whatever the case is. Listen, you can't stand on the side of the road and be a prostitute, or if you caught, and we find out that's what you're doing, you go to jail, and the person who put you, the pimp, he gonna go to jail too. But if you love it that much, listen, you got little orgy clubs over there, you got the nightclubs, you can dance and prance and do whatever you want there. You could, you can go and meet up with these guys and do pornography or whatever the case is. But you can't stand on the street and just stand there and then, have somebody pay you like that. You have to go into this industry and do the same action and let somebody pay you like that. And then you be covered. Matter of fact, we'll call you a star, a porn star. We'll give you a star on Hollywood. You'll be featured on films, and it'll be publicly distributed over the World Wide Web and in stores. But you just can't do that same thing independently on the side of the road. And then humanity goes, oh, okay. Like, what is this, man? What is this? So, this is the type of stuff that we're talking about. The Lord said, hey, don't strive. Don't strive with men. Don't resist the evil man. Turn the other cheek and be peacemakers and be humble and think of others better than yourself and consider people's consciences and their bodies and their things like that. And then the evil one comes, and as the apostle said in Romans 1, he said they come up with new ways to sin. The same evils from the beginning. Same evil, same lie, hypocrisies, idolatries, sexual moralities, same evils, but they come up with new ways to do them, right? And so as they continue to come up with new ways to do it, God don't want you to lie, right? God wants you to tell the truth all the time. But in this film, though, man, we need you to lie because it's part of the plot. It's part of the plot, and you got to act out the role. Oh, okay. So I'm not really lying? No, you're not really lying because, I mean, you are lying. The role requires you actually lie. You have to actually lie, but it's not really counted as a real lie because it's just a movie. Oh, okay. So Kerry Washington being the mistress of the president, she wasn't really an adulteress, right? No, she's not really an adulteress because they ain't really having sex. They're just acting like they are, and she just, in the film she's an adulteress and a mistress, but she ain't really that because it's just a movie. Oh, and people like that's the response people got, and so they think these things ain't evil. So they never call it corrupt. Instead, she get awards for doing that which God hates. She get, actress of the year or whatever the case is, and stands up there and give God thanks for her talents and how it saved her life and all this kind of stuff. But then when you look at her works, it's evil. The black community should be like, nah, man. We offended by this. Music industry come out. Nah, man, we offended by this. Like, what kind of craziness is this Megan Thee Stallion got going on? What kind of craziness is this Beyonce got going on? What is witchcraft, ancestry worship stuff? What is this? But they don't speak out against that stuff. They're fans of it. They don't really hate evil because they hate God. They don't really hate evil. They just hate it when evil's done and they let it get away as long as it's just blacks. But as soon as another community gets upset and wants the same person canceled, then the black community is only upset about the fact that, hey, we let it happen to us, and we feel it's unfair that you won't allow it to happen to you. Because that's what they're complaining about. Though they don't say the words verbatim. We only being upset with Dave Chapelle, what he do to us. We let him do what he do to us. We upset with y'all because y'all won't let him do to y'all what he do to us. And if I was, of course I'm not, but just not hypocrisy, but hypocritically speak, what's the word you look for? Hypothetically speaking, if it's part of the LGBT community, my response would have been, well, then you should be upset and not let it happen to you. But you can't be upset with me because I won't let it happen to me. And so that, so it's foolishness, man. And the fact that you have Christians, mainly black, I only seen black Christians sharing this garbage. The fact that you have black Christians sharing this, it shows this evil mindset, man, that flows among the Christian community, and how they easily share this, and they commend this thing openly, and they have no conviction. They'll think that what they're saying is deep. They'll think that what they're saying is sound. They'll think that what they're saying is okay and no sin in it. But they don't understand the foolishness of what they're even complaining about. And so, I ain't gonna hold you guys long about this, but I saw it. I've been seeing it for the last couple of days, but when I saw that video, with the Dave Chapelle thing, that DL Hughley shared, I wanted to include that in this. But when I was seeing everybody, talk about it and saying the things they were saying, and I'm like, bro, do y'all even know what y'all saying right now? What you even complaining about? It just further exposes the hypocrisies that's going on, man. And the people that's upset about this, guess where they're going to be at October 31st? They're going to be trick-or-treating, going to haunted houses, dressed as ghosts, doing all the evil stuff that God hates. But today, man, hey, bro, you think these jokers were activists for righteousness, man. And they want righteousness to reign. And it's unfair what the LGBT community is doing. There's hypocrisy going on. Man, all y'all hypocrites, man. But for those that's Christians and believers on Christ, we are not to be hypocrites. So you have to come out from among these things. Have nothing to do with them. Let them argue amongst themselves. Dave Chappelle's going to do what he does. He's made his money and his fortune, and he's still making it, and he's going to make more. The people that's promoting him, they only want what's going to make them money. If he wasn't making them money and people didn't want to see him, they wouldn't promote him. He wouldn't have that deal with Netflix. All right? And so forth and so forth. So, and obviously, with this issue, I don't have no problem with the LGBT community wanting him canceled. I think he should be canceled, period. So the fact they want him canceled because he offended them, oh well, if that happens as a result, thank the Lord. At least he won't be making jokes about the blacks or the LGBT community. Maybe if you get off that stage, stop doing these things, maybe somebody, a true minister of God, would actually witness to this brother, and his soul actually be saved. Because he thinks doing what he's doing has saved his life. You don't know it's actually destroying him. Because he don't have the knowledge of God. But yeah, man, your brothers and sisters, man, come away from that stuff, and don't share those links. It's utter foolishness. Fear God, love righteousness, hate evil, and as the apostle said, work hard to show the results of your salvation. If you've truly been saved by faith in Christ, then the rest of your life is to work hard to show the results of that, and that's why we put away these actions, these things of the flesh. And die daily, mortifying the deeds of the flesh. All this talk, which is a religious, ceremony of sacrificing every day. And so remembering that you're the temple of God and that God's Spirit dwells in you, and that every day is a morning and evening oblation, crucifying the flesh and offering up your body as living sacrifices. Imagine yourself standing before an actual altar of God, which is what we really are doing. And that'll show you just how holy you should be and how you don't have time for this utter foolishness, like with Dave Chapelle and all that stuff, and MMA, boxing, all that stuff, because you're too busy You're too busy working in the temple. You don't have time for those things. So, all right, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and go. Lord's will, I'll see y'all this afternoon, or some of y'all at least, this afternoon for the community gathering. We'll talk a little bit more on these things. All right. Peace, brothers and sisters.